The waters between the Philippines, China, and Taiwan are now among the world's most closely watched. In recent months, the United States has expanded its military footprint in the Philippines, sparking swift objections from Beijing. But why does China care so much about new US bases nearby? Is it just about military hardware, or something deeper? The new US military sites in the Philippines are close to the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait, two of China's most sensitive regions. The US presence isn't new, but its expansion signals a new phase in Asia's power struggle. China's strong reaction reveals more than annoyance. It exposes the fears and calculations behind Beijing's foreign policy. The stakes are global, involving the world's busiest trade routes and the future of Asian security. As we explore China's motives, we'll see the answer isn't simple. It's about military worries, economic interests, and the fear of being boxed in. Understanding China's reaction sheds light on the tensions shaping this crucial region. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, was first signed by the US and Philippines in 2014, but gained new momentum in 2023. The agreement lets the US use and upgrade Philippine bases, store equipment, and rotate troops through key locations. 4 new sites were added, bringing the total to 9. Geography makes this expansion significant. Some sites are in northern Luzon, closest to Taiwan, while others face the South China Sea. This puts US forces within striking distance of contested waters and Chinese shipping lanes. For the US, it means greater flexibility and faster response if tensions flare over Taiwan or the sea. For the Philippines, it promises more security and disaster aid, but also carries risks. Hosting US forces could make the country a target if conflict erupts. Beijing sees this as a direct challenge, giving the US more influence in its backyard. The locations suggest Washington is preparing for a crisis involving Taiwan or the South China Sea, both vital to China. The stakes for both sides are rising. The South China Sea is a crossroads for security, global trade, and national pride. Over $3 trillion in goods pass through these waters each year, linking Asia's producers with global consumers. Any disruption would echo through the world economy. But the region is also a flashpoint for conflict. China claims almost the entire sea, marked by the 9-dash line, but Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei dispute these claims. China has built military outposts on islands and reefs, raising security concerns. Control of the sea means control of trade and resources, oil, gas, and rich fishing grounds. For China, access to these resources is essential for food and energy security. The US and its allies see the South China Sea as a test of international rules. Washington wants to keep sea lanes open and prevent domination by any one country. This puts it on a collision course with China, which sees outside involvement as a threat. China's official reaction to new US bases has been swift and stern. Beijing accuses the US of stoking tensions and militarizing the region, calling it foreign meddling. But analysts see deeper fears behind the rhetoric. First, China fears a faster US military response in a crisis, over Taiwan or disputed islands. With US forces closer, China has less time and space to maneuver. Intelligence is another concern. New bases could boost US surveillance of Chinese moves, especially near Taiwan. This makes it harder for Beijing to keep plans secret or surprise rivals. China also worries about a growing network of US partnerships, Japan, Australia, and others, limiting its freedom to act. Some in China fear being boxed in by US forces so close to home. The presence of these bases challenges Beijing's sense of security and its ambitions in Asia. The stakes are about more than just territory, they're about power and influence. The increased US presence isn't just about bases. Joint military exercises between the US and Philippines have nearly doubled since 2016. In 2023 alone, they held over 500 joint activities, drills, patrols, and exchanges. These exercises send a clear message. The alliance is active and ready. Nearly 1/3 of global maritime trade, over $3 trillion, passes through the South China Sea each year. Any conflict here would disrupt supply chains worldwide. Maritime disputes have grown, with dozens of confrontations between Chinese and Southeast Asian vessels since 2016. The 2016 Hague Tribunal ruling rejected China's sweeping claims, but Beijing ignored it. Standoffs and dangerous maneuvers are now frequent headlines. The numbers reveal a crowded, contested region where the risk of escalation is always present. China's anxiety doesn't end with the Philippines. Beijing fears other Southeast Asian countries might follow Manila's example. If Vietnam, Malaysia, or Indonesia invite more U.S. cooperation, China could face a chain of American-linked partners. The U.S. is deepening security ties with Singapore, Thailand, and Indonesia, while Australia and Japan increase their presence. Each new base or drill adds to China's sense of being surrounded. For China, it's not just about losing influence, it's about losing freedom of action. If U.S. allies block China's moves at sea or in the air, Beijing's goals for Taiwan or the South China Sea become harder to achieve. If Southeast Asian nations see U.S. backing as a way to push back, the balance of power could shift quickly. China's leaders worry the U.S.-Philippines deal could start a domino effect, undermining their long-term plans. Beneath Beijing's official statements lies a deeper fear encirclement. For centuries, China has seen itself as vulnerable to threats from the sea. Memories of past invasions shape how its leaders think about security. Today, U.S. forces close to China's coast revive these old anxieties. Chinese military planners worry that in a crisis, U.S. and allied bases could choke off China's access to the Pacific. This would hurt China's ability to defend its interests, or even threaten its survival in a war. China wants room to maneuver, militarily, economically, and diplomatically. U.S. bases in the Philippines, Japan, and Guam make that space feel much smaller. The more China feels boxed in, the more it may act to break out. Showing strength against U.S. moves is important for China's leaders at home. The U.S.-Philippines bases are just one part of a much bigger contest for influence in Asia. China's reaction to new U.S. military bases in the Philippines goes far beyond real estate. It's about security, trade, history, and the struggle for influence in Asia. For Beijing, the U.S. presence is a challenge to its place in the world. China's fears include faster U.S. response times, better surveillance, and a growing web of U.S. alliances. The risk of a domino effect, with more countries inviting in American forces, only adds to Beijing's anxiety. The U.S.-Philippines agreement is just one chapter in a long story. Understanding China's motives helps explain why this region remains one of the world's most important flashpoints.